Alright guys, Christian from Shadow Saber Films back here with another video today. This time we're doing our first product review ever. This is kind of odd, but we're going with it anyways. So anyways, I'm going to be reviewing the Zoom H1. I'll flash a quick picture on screen right here. I'm actually recording with it right now, involving this microphone. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run through the functions of this, kind of explain some awesome features about it, and then also compare it to several other microphones with several different situations. So anyways guys, let's move on. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the Zoom H1 itself. As you can see here, it's actually a fairly simplistic little device. On the front here you have your LCD monitor, which will display all of the different utilities that you'll need within the microphone, such as the decibel level. It'll also display how much recording time you have left, your battery life, and also what file format you're in. And also within the front side, you'll see this little light up here, the recording/peak. If you peak out the audio, of course, it'll start flashing to notify you of that. And then down here, you'll see this one single button with a red dot in the middle. This is obviously going to be your record button. You can hit it to start recording and hit it to stop recording. Very simplistic, but very nice. And then as you can see here on the top is our two-way stereo microphone. This is, it does capture a fairly good area of range, but it is usually used as more of an omnidirectional microphone, which I don't mind at all. It's actually quite helpful, very good built-in microphone that I quite enjoy, although I myself prefer to plug in a second microphone. So anyways, that's the front side over here. Let's take a look at the right now. You'll see that there's different parts over here. There's your line in for your microphone. This is where you can attach a second microphone with 3.5 millimeter jack. Very handy. I love having this. I plug my boom hole into this most of the time. And you'll see here is your input level switch. It has a plus and a minus. This will allow you to adjust just how much you want it to actually record. I have it set to auto right now, so let me fix that. So you can change the input level of how much you want it to actually record audio wise, or how much, or what decibel level you want it at, basically. So that's what that does. And then back over here you have your playback buttons. You have the pause and play right here, your rewind, and your fast forward. Then over here is a delete button, also for playback mode. So while you're in playback mode and you're listening to a clip, or even if you just have it paused, you can click the delete button. Then it will ask you up here, are you sure? So let's try this out. For example, let me click this right here. So now I'm in playback mode. Then I can come down here, click delete, and it will ask you if you would like to delete. And then to confirm it, you click the record button and it will delete it for you. And then it will go to the clip recorded previously before that. And then to get back into recording mode, all you simply have to do is click the record button again and you are back in recording mode. So then down here you have the power switch. There is a hold function here, so if you slide it over to hold, then anything you have set for your input or output level will remain stationary. The only effective button now is this record button right here. But if you go back and you just slide it to the middle, then that is off, and now you can adjust your input level and your audio levels. And then over here is the power. All you have to do is slide it over to the power and hold it for a good second or two to turn it on or off. As you can see, I've just turned it off and it said goodbye. Now I just hold it back again for another second or two, and there we go, it does its little boot up process. And then over here is your little USB plug-in. I haven't really found a use for that yet, but it does come with the correct cable for this. So I believe you can use this to plug it directly into a computer or something rather than actually removing the micro SD chip. It does not have any built-in storage though, sadly. So that's this side. Let's move over to the left side. Over here you'll see a line out. This is for your headphones, also a 3.5 millimeter jack. Just so that you can listen to your audio as you're recording it, or even if you're not recording it, you can check your levels before you hit record while the device is turned on, so you can hear everything sounds. And of course there's also a volume adjuster here. This is your output volume, so this will adjust how much you're hearing coming out of here or how much you hear coming out of the speaker. And this speaker is only actually in use in playback mode. It does not go off in recording mode, so you don't have to worry about that. So once again, you can adjust the volume of your headphones that you have plugged in right here, or of this speaker down here. And then right here is your micro SD card slot. It does come with a 2 GB micro SD and an adapter for it. But anyways, you just pull this off really quick and it is attached to the device itself, which is very nice. And then you have your little micro SD card right here. All you have to do is just click on it and then you can pull it out. So I'm not going to pull it out. I'm just going to click it back in and close it. So anyways, on the back here,
you have 3 different little sliders up here. You have your low cut filter, your auto level, and your recording format. I tend to leave these all at the left. The low cut filter I just don't have a use for, really. You can do that if you want to, but that's all a personal preference. Auto level I leave off because I like being able to manually adjust my input levels for my projects and also my volume on the side here. If you just leave it on auto, it does all of that for you, so it's practically like having the hold function on, except it does all of the settings for you and you have no control over it whatsoever. And then last is the recording format. You have WAV and MP3. I go with WAV just because of the fact that it's an uncondensed audio file format, which makes it sound a little bit cleaner, because as soon as you compress it, it kind of screws up the audio a little bit. But of course, this means it takes up more space, and I can only get about 3 hours and 20 minutes of recording time on the 2GB SD card. Now, if I were to switch to MP3, I get about 34 hours. So it's space difference. It's a matter of how much you record. I usually clean this off whenever I'm done with it for the day. I'll take whatever's on it, throw it on my computer, and then throw it on a spare device as well, just so I've got backups. But that way I can also keep the SD card clean and always have recording room for this. So if you need to, you can switch to MP3. I will do that for stuff like podcasts, something that is a longer recording session that I need the extra time for. But otherwise, I like to stick with my WAV file. And also on the back here, you'll see the little battery spot here. It's only a AA battery, and it comes with one. And this is actually what this is the one that it comes with. So it's just a very simple slide-off little cover for the battery. Very nice. I love the fact that it's only one AA battery. It makes it so easy. And then also right here, you have a little spot where you can actually mount this on a tripod if you so choose. It's actually quite handy. Especially if you can't really hold it with what you're doing, if you need to just set it down, kind of like what I do sometimes when I'm alone. If you're on your own and you have this, sometimes it's easier to actually mount it onto a tripod and then just hit the record button and boom, you're good to go. So anyways, that is the basic functions and, little bits and pieces of the Zoom H1. And anyways, let's move on to some audio tests. Okay, so this is the built-in microphone on my Vixia HF-G20. I wanted to do this first so I could compare it to the built-in microphone on the Zoom H1. So anyways, here is the Vixia HF-G20 Canon camcorder really quick, just so you guys can get a little reference. And that is the current microphone that I am testing right now to compare to the built-in microphone on the Zoom H1. So let's go check that out. Alright, so this is the Zoom H1 recorder built-in stereo microphone test. And I'm just comparing this to the Vixia HF-G20 microphone. Okay, so now we're moving on to my Audio-Technica ATR 6550 plugged directly into my Vixia HF-G20. And then in a minute, we'll compare this to it being plugged into the Zoom H1 so you guys can see the audio difference between being plugged directly into the two devices. So anyways, let's move on to the H1. Alright guys, so this is the Zoom H1 with the Audio-Technica ATR 6550 plugged directly into its line-in input. And so we'll compare this to it being plugged into the Vixia HF-G20 just so you guys can see a little bit of a difference. Alright guys, so I think in conclusion here it's fairly obvious the difference in the quality of the H1 compared to the other microphones. The H1 built-in microphone itself was actually better, at least to me anyways, than having the Audio-Technica boom mic plugged directly into my camera. Because the built-in microphone for one wasn't picking up static, and the audio actually seemed to be a little bit clearer itself. And then of course plugging in the boom microphone into the Zoom H1 was even better, and I'm just like astonished by the quality of it. So this is definitely a product I would recommend. If you already have a decent quality audio recorder, I wouldn't worry about it. But if you're going off of a built-in microphone on a camera, or even plugging a boom mic directly into a camera, I would recommend getting a Zoom H1 because it is very handy, and it's also versatile too, because you don't have to have it connected directly to the camera. You can be mobile with it, have the microphone somewhere completely different while your camera's shooting something. So there's a whole bunch of different reasons to look into getting this, and I found so many good things about it, and it's a very good budget recorder. The white version was only $80 on Amazon Prime, or on Amazon, so I'll leave the links to this in the description, but there's also a black version that's $100, so I figured I'd just save the 20 bucks and get the white version since it's always going to be behind camera anyways, and it's never going to show up on screen. So it is, like I said, it's a very good quality audio recorder, does a lot of good things, very simplistic, easy to get used to. It only took me a day to actually figure out how to use the thing properly and figure out the majority of its functions. There might still be a couple that I'm not 100% sure about, but for the most part, I have everything that I need to actually use this thing correctly. And I've even started using it on the current project that we're working on, and the audio difference has been amazing. I am so glad that I got this. It was such a worthy investment. One that I do highly recommend to amateur filmmakers. But once again, if you're on the more high end and you're looking for higher end audio recorders, this is probably not the place for you. This is more of a budget type deal, and a very good budget deal at that. So once again, if you are working on a tighter budget, this is very recommended. Even if you're just doing stuff like random YouTube videos, this would work great for stuff like podcasts and anything like that. So anyways, guys, that's all I really have for this review. Like I said, highly recommended product, and links will be in the description. So anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.